But let's start off at the top of this class. You mentioned that there's going to be a player for sure in the top half of the first round, or at least has graded that way. And I'm in agreement with you. Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. You have him at 5 on your overall big board. I had him in my top 10 as well. I had him at 6. So yeah, see him right in the same tier break right there. Give me your, I won't say one-liner, maybe your 5-liner on Ashton Jeanty and why he is, I think, a consensus top 10 player, I think, on almost everybody's big board because of that type of player skill set that he has.
This is how I would describe Ashton Jeanty in an easy way that is pretty digestible for people to understand. I think it's absolute BS and disrespectful how much we are giving away the Alvin Kamara comp every single season. If a guy bounces off one shoulder tackle and gets into the end zone or catches a pass out of the backfield, or maybe if he even just has dreadlocks, somebody goes, "Oh, look, it's Alvin Kamara." The Alvin Kamara comp is
one
right
choice
there.
Route.
And I think that is disrespectful for how good Alvin Kamara was, especially when I say was, just when the Saints were in the prime of their offense, what he was to that offense. I think that comp actually fits for Ashton Jeanty. Like I genuinely think that it is that he is. We finally have somebody that's actually worth the Alvin Kamara comp because first and foremost, the balance through contact is there. This is somebody who is consistently bouncing off all sorts of tackles, whether it's wrap-up tackles, whether it's guys trying to lay big hits, whatever it is. His center of gravity at 5'8", 5'9" is so low. He is so powerful. The weight is distributed so well. We have 2 stats that I'm going to reference a lot throughout this show at PFF that I love to lean on when I evaluate the running back position because, you know, we always have this conversation with running backs. Look at Saquon Barkley, for example, right? Saquon Barkley, he has a historic year with the Philadelphia Eagles. People go, "Oh, look at what the Giants gave up." He wouldn't have had that year with the Giants. He could have been the same exact player, had the same exact health, same exact talent level. He would not have done that with the New York Giants this past year. And the reason why is because offensive line is paramount to a great rushing attack. So how do you scout running backs in a way where you're not totally leaning on that caveat all the time? Well, we have 2 stats at PFF that I'd like to categorize when we get to do that. Missed tackles forced per attempt. Okay, that's an average of how often you are making a guy miss, whether it is agility, just straight up, juking him and not letting him tackle you, or that could also be breaking tackles. So bouncing off tackles as well. Both of those count as missed tackles forced per attempt. So we have that average, and then we have yards after contact as well, because that's independent of the offensive line. You could get hit from contact 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You get hit at contact at the line of scrimmage. You get hit after contact at the second or third level. But how often are you getting yards after the first time you initiate contact with the defender? That's also independent of your offensive line. Ashton Jeanty in both of those categories, so damn elite. He averaged this past season over 5 yards a carry after contact. If you gave this guy the ball and he got hit at the line of scrimmage, he was getting halfway to the first down on 1st and 10 on an average. Now I know that's not exactly how it works, but that's not right. That's not. You would take a 5 yards per carry average at all, let alone after contact. So that just goes into it. And then his missed tackles forced per attempt. I'm trying to contextualize this for people that don't look at it all the time with PFF or listen to PFF all the time. But the way that I would say it is you want your NFL backs coming from college to the NFL to have an average of at least 0.20, at least 0.20, something in the 0.20s. That's what you want for an NFL caliber back. If you get into the 30s, 0.30 and above, that now you're talking about, okay, you are a pretty impactful and efficient back. Every time you touch the football, I can realistically expect you to make somebody miss almost every time because you've got that type of playmaker mentality. If you have a 0.40 and above, 100%. If you've got a 0.40 and above, we're talking about like top tier category. Like this was Bijan Robinson when he was at Texas. This was like Trevor Etienne in his best years when he was at Clemson. Like some of the best backs, the best single season running back seasons that we have had are guys who are in that category. Ashton Jeanty, 0.41 this past season. Like it's just, it is a truly elite number, how much he is making guys miss. So that's why I have him number 5 overall. Not only that, he's a good pass protector and he's a good receiver too. People don't realize it because he didn't really get used at like it this year. He had an elite PFF receiving grade the year prior. So This is a full 3-down back, in my opinion. He gives you that benefit on passing downs that you love to sort of hold that value. And he gives you those efficiency metrics to have faith in, independent of whatever offensive line's in front of him.
No, you painted a great picture of why he's so high on the boards. Like I really like Bijan, and I would say still one of the knocks of Bijan Robinson is that he might not have that elite home run speed. It's good speed. It's just that he just doesn't. That fifth gear doesn't always get there, and you can even track this. I mean, he doesn't break 20 miles an hour as much as you would think, but he gets to that. He gets from 0 gear to 4th gear very quickly, and I think Jeanty has that same quality as Bijan, but then has that 5th gear to take it to the house. I'm glad you brought up the receiving stuff and the pass protection stuff. That's also, something that's going to make me interested in a running back, but also on top of it, he has the skill set and the explosiveness of a guy that you take in the first round. So he has the dirty work stuff as well. I compared him. I love that comparison to Kamara because just that smoothness and how he bounces off bodies and then it's able to quickly accelerate, get right back into speed even after contact. So I totally get that comparison with him. I am going with Priest Holmes for him because they have very similar builds. Yeah, very high, lofty comparison here. The other one I had was Ontario Smith, the Wizinator from my old Vikings days, because they're both very talented backs. Ontario Smith would have been a first round back if he if you want to look why he needed the Wizinator, you'll know why he was out of the league in 3 years. But very talented player back in the day. But same thing, just that good build, not the big height, but that good build, even if they're not the tallest guy, which doesn't matter for backs, but have to bring it up. But that contact balance, the shiftiness, the vision to set up the hole as well. Like it's not just speed. Like that's why even like a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs had to learn how to kind of maybe throttle his speed. And now look how exceptional he is. Jeanty already shows that. So I'm with you. He's my top back as well. I think it's pretty easy. I'm excited to see where he ends up because I think he fits in any type of run scheme as well.